Welcome, everybody. Good to see you. Hello, Robin. Hello, Helicopter Grandma. Just making sure everything's okay. It says it's healthy. Everything seems fine. I got PTSD after the last couple lives I've done. I've had to stop preemptively reset my router before I came live, so everything should be okay. Knock on wood. What's up, Darlene D? Make sure you say hello to your friend, Mr. Hemi, 420. He was in here yesterday. Good to see you, Sweet Tea. Welcome in, everybody. We're talking about Jack and Lily today, of course. Yes, oh yes, we're going to talk about Jack and Lily. Hopefully, I'm not going to be disrupted. If I am, we'll be right back. Not to worry too much. I don't know if it's because I'm still using a Windows 10 or I'm starting to have problems with Streamlabs desktop. Anything can go wrong, but I normally don't change any settings, so sometimes when updates happen, you know how it can go. It affects other things. Good to see you, Jen. Yep, friends. I got an email this morning. You know how I tell you the odd time I get these messages. Usually you can tell who they are, who they're coming from, thereabouts. I just all classify them as like Derwood or Kent. Because it's always in response specifically to something that I said about them. And of course, they're so desperate to be perceived as victims in all of this. I just throw it out there. Hi, Lee. I got to show you this message. It does say that I have a poor stream status, so we'll just keep going. It might be buffering for you, but just just hold on. Just hold on. Yeah, every freaking time it updates, no doubt. Now it says it's back to healthy again. So it goes from healthy to not to healthy to not. I'm going to try to manage. I'm going to close everything that I have. Is it my VPN? I don't think so. I'm streaming through a VPN too. But it's now saying it's healthy. I'm not getting any alarms, so I don't know if it's YouTube receiving my information. Should be okay. We'll get through it. We usually do okay. So I got to show you this particular message. Excuse me. Now, where the hell did that go? Oh, well, there's Earl. I got to talk about Earl's statement. Maybe we'll have to do this a different way. Hold on. Let's do this a different way. I'll bring it as a file. You can see it. Sometimes my special, they don't allow me to show some files. Depends how I screenshot save them. Here we go. Oh, Robin, that's your message. Excuse me. That was a great message that you pointed out in that sense, by the way. Well, where in the hell would it have gone? Just a second. What does it do to me? This thing's playing games with me, I swear. I had to show you a nasty email I got. I have it all set by, and it takes it away from me as though it doesn't even exist, even under files. Now, hold on. Let me just sort it out one way first. Jesus. There it is, for crying out loud. Holy mackerel. Jesus, Murphy. There we go. Oh, no, this is an older one. This is an older one, but it doesn't matter. It'll be okay because it's just the same one. It's not the one I was looking for, but this is an example. You need to stop shooting off about my cousin Kent Corbett. He's trying to help to get the 2 little kids back. Well, I'll just bet he is. That's an example of one, but I've got one that's just a spitting image of that. See if I can find that. That's April. Well, there's a certain level of intelligence that it takes to communicate in a certain way, doesn't it? Maybe it's Earl undercover all of this time. I got this from Mike Demands. He was pointing this the other day, and these are all already taken down. I don't know if Earl got a hold of the bottle, the whiskey bottle, Derwood's bottle, or what. But take a look at the communication on your screen and just how horrible it is. Not just he's just missing in words entirely. He's just completely misspelling and misappropriating the words to metaphors in this sentence. And it's amazing. Earl Martell said to say, but karma with a C comes to people that lie and for gain and hide, misspelt their shit to divert attention. Now I'll let your mind catch up. Said to say, why don't you be a man? Why don't you be a man? I don't know what karma with a C is, but I know what karma with this K is. And it comes to people that lie and for gain, whatever the frick that means, and hide their shite to divert attention. Is that a message to Daniel? Is it English as a second language? Oh, Jesus. I'm no grammar Nazi or anything, but it's difficult to communicate with a person who really believes that they're speaking English. He just doesn't give a shit, does he? This guy doesn't even give a shit. I mean, everybody makes mistakes, but this is going beyond that. Violet Boylan 4958 says, I don't think he's very smart. Well, he's trying to apply some of his intellect here over Facebook. Does anybody get the metaphor? Does anybody get his meaning? Oh, hey, easy there, Socrates. He's a real homer. I hope these charges for Daniel is the tip of the iceberg. Jerry Lynn, absolutely they are. Tonight we're going to take a bit of a bruise around some of the things that we wouldn't normally focus on. I was kind of thinking I'd pull up side by side because it gives you a sense to know about long after the fact. We've come so far, and the more that you get to know about these charges, the more that you realize it has a lot to do with a lot of the information that we know already. However, just because we know some information doesn't mean we know all of it. Everything is being omitted by these individuals in this case. There's so much more to the story, and that, I believe, is what Malaya has introduced. She's given them a little more because we know the stories about the assaults. We know the story about the forcible confinement because that's really describing different circumstances where you prevented her in contacting her kin, her mother, those close to her, her protection, her support network. But then we get this SA charge. So obviously there's more to the There's more to this little process that Daniel was imposing on Malaya than we all are aware of. And the more part is such that it brought charges. Jerry Lynn, I love Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. I'd even move there. Are there any pretty girls left? By girls, I mean women in their late 30s or 40s. Let me see. It's the Martel code. It's hard to crack, damn Grundle. I don't think so. He's not very hard to crack at all. He's the dumbest ass I've ever seen. He's pathetic. Oh, Deborah Dixon 8757 says, AB, remember Daniel said early on in an interview, that's on the CBC, you're thinking, there's more to this than meets the eye. Yeah, like Transformers. Yeah, that's the first part of giving himself away. When you're telling the world and the RCMP that there's a lot more going on to this situation than he's willing to discuss openly, and that's what he was doing, we have a bit of a problem. And come to think of it, Malaya, Daniel, and Janie all actually have different stories at this point in time. They've walked themselves from reciting this cockamamie script that they gave on May 2nd. Now, if you summarize them, knowing that they're pathological liars, especially in this situation, but they all have and have walked different ways. They all have different stories. And for Malaya's story, we'll just, for example, use what she called and told Dispatch and in the paperwork. Daniel has contradicted all of the points that Malaya brought up, or what were presented as fact for the case. He's contradicted them. Janie doesn't believe anything. She doesn't like any part of the script. Doesn't believe anything, but she believes the kids are still alive. Danny, he believes, or he hopes that the kids are still alive, because hope is all he's got. But when he says he, when he means he says we. Excuse me. Good day, Squid. I specifically saved that damn thing, and do you think I can find it? It's like I got a gremlin in my damn. It's like I got a gremlin in my damn computer. Playing with me, Kent. I guess it's not important. It was only a troll statement. It still fucks with your mind a little bit. Because as soon as I come off and I go to share it, it'll pop right up and I'll see it. Like there's got to be something in this program. So that was Earl's statement. There's more, but I didn't screenshot them, of course. I wonder who he's talking about or Earl's referencing. He's already removed these comments. That's so cryptic. He's sending out cryptic codes over a place like Facebook. Maybe it's his inner self wanting to scream out and talk about things in a truthful manner. So let's look past the grammatical errors. What's old Early saying here? Sad to say, but karma comes to people that lie and for gain. I'm not quite sure about that for gain, what the hell that is. And hide their shit to divert attention. It's got to be talking about Daniel's newest charges. Wouldn't you think? That's all I can think about. Earl, are you talking about Daniel's new SA charge? Who's Brooke, Violet? You think he's saying MBM Brooke is lying? I don't know who you're talking about. Oh, Brooks. It's probably misspelled. Earl wasn't pleased with Danny? Oh, no. No way. Why don't you be a man, Earl? Why don't you ask Danny? Why don't you go and coach Danny? Give him some coaching. Give him some direction. Yeah, you're right, Sky Maiden. This Earl is Danny's dad. Let me see if I've got a picture of him. That's him on the right. Oh, welcome, 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 Liz Nova Scotia Strong. Thank you very much. Fantastic photo. This is going to be reunited, and it feels so good moment here in this photo with the RCMP canine unit out on patrol. On the way home, they had to let the dog out to go pee. Why don't you be a man, he says. Good to see you, Sky Maiden. Thank you. Walt, dear God, I pray this is not linked to HT and C-spam. You know, what the hell are you talking about? You know DM has family covering for him, and as for MBM, I'm not sure. Well, I think that they probably feel the same way in general as everybody else towards Daniel. We don't know the entire story. But for now, I trust the RCMP are treating it the best that they can and dealing with it any way that they can to get and extract all of the information they need out of Malaya, protecting her as a victim and her rights, recognizing her special identity in that sense in relation to the case. I'm fine with that. So far, so good. So far, so good. All they need is just a little break. And this is a big step in that sense. A wig and glasses and Janie Israel? Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? It's like owners becoming their dogs in that sense. And they start to resemble one another. You think they're inbred, Blue Eye? I don't know about that. But many members of their family are. Ginger's mom, Stalker Kent, needs to have a restraining order against him. Especially from my comments section. Hey, bro. I know that's you leaving that message. First of all, you couldn't even spell the word fiend in your name, you dummy. Music, F-E-I-N-D. Unless you're spelling German, and I doubt it. Telling me in my comment section that they had to unsubscribe because of the things that I was saying about Kent. Nothing specific, of course. Nothing specific. But the threats and the fact that what I'm supposedly threatening with Kent can really harm him and take his life, and this music fiend just couldn't stand it anymore, so they had to unsubscribe. But first they said, you know, I don't even like Kent, etc. You remember that Turtles song, etc. That's with etc. in it. I love you and etc. But that it was Kent. So it goes like this. I need you to know that I've chosen to unsubscribe from your channel. I don't like Kent, etc. But I just can't take the way that you're threatening and how it is that you're threatening this man. Not only is it very illegal, but it could also become way worse the way that you're describing it. It's just, it was an endless little loop of nonsense, but it was fantastic. And I got a chuckle and I screenshotted it. Now I can't find it, but it's okay. So much for filing in computers. Detective Tim It for sure makes sense of Daniel's lack of brain cells, as his parents didn't have enough brain cells to share, in my opinion. Well, usually babies can develop and grow their own. Of course, there's all kinds of complications when people start romanticizing first cousins. Remember the email I sent you, AB Blue Eye? The person I mentioned is the director of the show of Lies. Okay, Blue Eyes. I think I do, actually. Send it to Ken for Valentine's Day, Nero? Well, it's on my community page. It's on my community page for him to see every time that he's on my channel. He's the only dude that thumbs down. Him and Derwood probably. They probably take shifts. I'm pumping out so much realism on this case, so much real talk. I'm out spamming all of the AI. They don't have their AI to hide behind anymore. The fact is that Kent can't stay out of YouTube live chats. I know his type. I know your type, Kent. Good to see you, Brian. Listen to this. Voice messages from Janie.
Insight into her brain at all, or her head at all. So it's just like you guys. I'm in the dark as much as you guys, because I don't know what's going on in her head. You never know. After me speaking out and pleading for Jack and Lily, as I said, if Malaya has a heart, she won't do it for the adults. She'll do it for her children. But here's another thing that has got me puzzled and got me very upset is she's fighting tooth and nail for Meadow, but she's not doing anything about Jack and Lily. She's not on here pleading. She's not on here doing interviews, pleading for the kids to come home. She's not saying anything. So I'll leave it to your guys' imagination to figure out why she's doing what she's doing. I'm not sure what you're talking about at Old Church. There's no Old Church around here. If you're talking about the building up on the top of the hill, it used to be an old community center. And yes, it has been searched. I searched it myself. I walked all the way around it. I told the RCMP that I had already searched that, and I even searched the little camp that my neighbor has up there. I walked all around that. The RCMP, the searchers, everybody looked this whole area around here. Why do I think Malaya's family is keeping quiet? In my opinion, she doesn't want to let anybody know what happened. She doesn't want to let anybody know if she's involved in this. This is my opinion.
It's amazing. The same day that they called the entire family to their place for this makeshift family reunion where Janie ended up holding everything against them, including eating all the food that they brought over, not going out and searching, and somehow right in that moment she was trying to tell the police that was suspicious in that sense, with no context. The fact is after she lost her temper at the end of the driveway because of Haley stating the obvious, she tweaked out, geeked out, meltdown, started throwing hands and scratching faces, pulling fur. And everybody ended up leaving. Imagine that. It tells me that nobody was buying what it was that they were selling in that sense. I'm not talking about law enforcement. I was talking about the people that showed up. And they did go out for a little bit with Malaya. The fact that you said that they didn't go searching is just you trying to deflect blame from yourself onto somebody else. They took off. They didn't want to stick around that night because of how volatile the environment was. It was sketchy. And your RV in the driveway is part of the overall environment. What's up, Chip Foland? Good to see you.
But the only way you're going to get answers to what the truth is if you talk to Malaya. No, I do not take my told you from Monday. right up till Friday morning. So my dog is locked in the RV. The reason why I do that is my dog is kind of a, if he gets out and he gets out of the fence or anything, my dog likes to go for a little walk. Just like probably like most dogs, go for a little walk in the woods, because ever since I had my dog, he's been fenced up, because I got him from a lady in New Glasgow, and she had him tied up all the time in town. So when I got him, I built a fence out back so he would have a place to run, and he's been fenced up ever since I got him. Because if you have a dog that's tied up all the time and he gets loose or fenced up all the time, of course when they get loose they're going to want to wander for a little while. And he got away one other time on me, and I know this has nothing to do, but this is the way I felt. If anybody this ever happened to anybody, when their animals go missing, this is me especially, I panicked. I ran everywhere hollering for him. I ran up and down the road. I even jumped in my car and I went looking for him. And that's a dog. I gave you right back to Monday. I told you. From Monday. Right up till Friday morning. That's when I heard and seen the kids. If you want, I'll go through it again.
Hey, Nanya, good to see you. Thank you for the nice words, darling.
Monday afternoon, they were outside. Tuesday, they went to school. Tuesday after school, they were outside. Wednesday, they left at around 12 o'clock to go to Patty's to do laundry. They didn't get home till 10 o'clock. The reason I know is my dog barked and let me know. I opened up my door. I said to Daniel, I said, you're getting home kind of late, aren't you? He said, I would have been home a lot earlier. Thursday morning, they didn't.
Yeah, see that? She's getting really good at omitting the rest of the statements. It's like setting up for a joke and withholding the punchline with her every time. She just withholds the context of whatever information she's trying to communicate. She just cuts out that sentence halfway through.
Didn't go to school. I heard they went to town. I don't know where they went. I don't know what they bought. Nothing. And then I come out of the tray. I heard the kids outside, and I opened up the door. Jack and Lily were right out here by the playhouse. If you look at the Google map between the playhouse and the woodshed where the swings are, they were out there looking for worms and centipedes. Because when I opened up the door, Jack said, look, I found a worm, I found a centipede. I said, good boy. I said, you keep looking. Then I went out, I started raking.
So, the fact that she's racing through all of her answers without stopping, pausing, breathing, altering it accordingly, like in an appropriate manner, describing it, talking any depth or describing it in a different manner, tells me that she has just rehearsed a bunch of lines, and that's it. It stands out. You don't need to do all of this nonsense and rush through things and insist people believe you. You can speak clearly, make sure the point gets across, and that's it. Move on with your life. Janie, as she's telling you these things, are making big deals about whatever. Jam was more worried about her dog, says Helicopter Grandma. Was more worried about her dog running off than Jack and Lily when they went missing. The ground is frozen in May. Well, it's softening up. Jack would not be digging for worms or centipedes yet. Yeah, there wouldn't be all that many bugs. It's not frozen. It'll be cold. It's less than ideal. Doesn't mean he wasn't looking, though. But it's just a distraction from the obvious anyway, Helicopter Grandma. But you got the right idea. What's up, Magdalena? No, you're not reading the rest of the title. It's amazing how many people come in here and don't read the rest of the title. Let me guess, you're on a mobile device. That's 3 I've counted now. Yeah. All these charges have been dropped on Daniel. The police haven't dropped the charges. They've dropped some charges on Daniel, like dropped them on his lap. That's the script someone wrote for her, targeted at points to get out of there, Miss K saying, yes. That's the talk. That's the suspicion. That's the thing. How does anybody have laundry for a month? Oh, God. I literally put my washing machine on every other day, and it's only 2 of us. Yeah, mine's going all the time. There's always something you want to wear that's in the laundry. If you're Daniel, you just don't take off your shirt.
Raking up the yard here for leveling out for a swimming pool for the kids, because I was going to put one up this year. Waiting for Daniel to help me build the fence because he had to go look for his tools. Then after that, when Daniel came and helped me with put the 2x4s up, or the, because if you have a dog that's tied up all the time and he gets loose or fenced up all the time, of course when they get loose they're going to want to wander for a little while. And he got away one other time on me, and I know this has nothing to do, but this is the way I felt. If this ever happened to anybody, when their animals go missing, this is me especially, I panicked. I ran everywhere hollering for him. I ran up and down the road. I even jumped in my car and I went looking for him. And that's a dog.
Thank you, Jen R. See this little part at the end? And that's a dog. So everything that she just told us about this little dog story in light of Jack and Lily gone missing was for a reason of her virtue signaling in that sense. Especially in an attempt to add credibility to whatever it is that she's saying in the moment. It's so disgusting to listen to, Janie. And that's a dog. You just got through saying all of that and wanted to emphasize that. And that's a dog. So therefore, that's what you're getting us to try to imagine. But whatever that is, it's supposed to bolster our belief in whatever it is that you're saying. Oh, you've impressed us so much about how it was you just searched for a fucking dog through your story. Oh, and this fence just makes so much goddamn sense. Don't want my fucking dog gotten out. No, what you have the fence for is so you can ignore the damn dog. You can put the dog outside and not have to worry about it. You don't have to go and interact or walk or exercise with your dog. When my dog went missing, I even jumped in my car and went all over the place. And that's a dog. Imagine what I'd do and how hard I'd look if it were kids. Listen to this again.
For worms and centipedes, because when I opened up the door, Jack said, look, I found a worm, I found a centipede. I said, good boy. I said, you keep looking. Then I went out, I started raking up the yard here for leveling out for a swimming pool for the kids, because I was going to put one up this year. Waiting for Daniel to help me build the fence because he had to go look for his tools. Then after that, when Daniel came and helped me with put the 2x4s up, or the, because if you have a dog that's tied up all the time and he gets loose or fenced up all the time, of course when they get loose they're going to want to wander for a little while. And he got away one other time on me, and I know this has nothing to do, but this is the way I felt. If this ever happened to anybody, when their animals go missing, this is me especially, I panicked. I ran everywhere hollering for him. I ran up and down the road. I even jumped in my car and I went looking for him. And that's a dog.
And that's a dog. And that's a dog. So first, I don't even believe the story. Don't even care. Who cares? Big fucking deal. Very proud of you. And that's a dog. It's almost like she's comparing the dog to Jack and Lily. She's trying to differentiate it for everybody else in that sense. Probably treated Jack and Lily worse than the dog. Well, that's even an understatement considering where they are right now. What Janie did was the opposite of protect a child. Bright Sweet Tea, she's trying to convince people of how good of a person she is, or she wants us to believe she is. Right. Good point. You think that she's a terrible dog owner too, Jen? How dare you? How dare you? You'd probably trigger her. Probably make her snap if you told her that. She could said raking up dog poop, but no, a pool, says Walt. Man, oh man, oh man.
I gave you right back to Monday. I told you. From Monday. Right up till Friday morning. That's when I heard and seen the kids. If you want, I'll go through it again.
Yes,
On Monday, they went to school. Monday afternoon, they were outside. Tuesday, they went to school. Tuesday after school, they were outside. Wednesday, they left at around 12 o'clock.
She's just going through this motion to show everybody just how good her memory is, her short-term memory is. It's like you're trying to memorize the words to a script, and you're going through it as though we're supposed to believe it. It doesn't matter how many times you repeat this rehearsed narrative. The fact is it's not what happened. It's not your own words, and you don't even believe it, honey. Why were you crying? Why were you saying you were crying again when Belinda saw you? No, Patriot Girl, you keep coming in here with that. I told you already, honey. There's no such thing in Canadian courts as concealment with the body. And dignity is a little different. You're right on one of them. The other one is just called something different. It's covered under obstruction of justice. But what is that called? Hold on now. Let me go see what that's called. Let me go see for you, darling. Come in here spamming that. Better straighten you out. Straighten everybody out. We can learn something today here in the episode. Another 5-year charge for Daniel that we've never talked about before, but that's a great point. Let me just scroll up. I've got it set aside somewhere. Holy Hannah. YouTube has added these quizzes to the search bar chapter. So I was experimenting around with that. Just give me a few minutes. Forcible, this is another one. Forcible confinement in Canada is a criminal offense. So everyone who, without lawful authority, confines, imprisons, or forcibly seizes another person is guilty of an indictable offense, an offense punishable. Okay, I'm on the right track.
To go to Patty's to do laundry. They didn't get home till 10 o'clock. The reason I know is my dog barked and let me know. I opened up my door. I said to Daniel, I said, you're getting home kind of late, aren't you? He said, I would have been home a lot earlier. Thursday morning, they didn't go to school. I heard they went to town. I don't know where they went. I don't know what they bought. Nothing. And then I come out of the tray. I heard the kids outside. And I opened up the door.
All right. Offering An indignity to a dead human body and concealment of a dead body are two separate criminal offenses under Canada's Criminal Code, RSC 1985, citing C46. They are not among the publicly confirmed charges against Daniel Martel. Okay, let me bring it up. Offering an indignity to a dead human body. That's the term that you want. Right there. Where's my darling Patriot girl? Was that you, Patriot girl? Yes. Let me see where you went. Put that in my chat. Slight adjustment for Canadian law. So let me read it to you what it is. Every person commits an offense who, subrule B, improperly or indecently interferes with or offers any indignity to a dead human body or human remains, whether buried or not. This is a hybrid offense. The Crown can proceed by indictment or summary conviction on its own. The maximum penalty is up to 5 years imprisonment, indictable, or a lighter penalties if summary. Examples of conduct that can qualify are mutilation, desecration, interference with a corpse. Kent, that's probably something you would be up to. Improper disposal that treats remains in a shameful or disgraceful manner, or even acts directed at a grave or monument, if clearly aimed at the remains themselves, per Supreme Court of Canada in R versus Moyer. Physical contact is not always required, Kent, Derwood. The act must be objectively undignified toward the body or remains. So in Canada, there is no standalone concealment of a dead body offense in the criminal code. Concealment is usually charged under obstructing justice, section 139, or public mischief, section 140, or accessory after the fact, section 23, or causing indignity, section 182, subrule B, if the manner of hiding involves undignified interference. In homicide manslaughter cases, improper concealment or disposal is often treated as an aggravating factor at sentencing rather than a separate count. In rare cases, it can fall under section 182, subrule A, if someone neglects a legal duty to bury or perform burial rites.
Jack and Lily were right out here by the playhouse. If you look at the Google map between the playhouse and the woodshed where the swings are, they were out there looking for worms and centipedes. Because when I opened up the door, Jack said, "Look, I found a worm, I found a centipede." I said, "Good boy." I said, "You keep looking." Then I went out, I started raking up the yard here for leveling it out for a swimming pool.
Leveling it out for a swimming pool. Helicopter Grandma, you're saying, and I thought I read that DM stayed in the car while MBM was doing the laundry at Patty's 6 bags of dirty laundry on Wednesday night. Jack and Lily wore the same clothes since Wednesday. Right, well, remember, just because you read it, especially through Daniel's text, he says everything at any one point in time. You probably did read that, and that has been going around, but by way of old Danny boy. Miss K says Derwood, Darren Geddes, should get slapped with obstruction of justice. How about molesting a dead horse, Miss K? Accessory before and after the fact, at minimum, at very least. The accessory is going to get him big time prison time. Accessory can be up to life. It can match the homicide charges. That's the ultimate what happened here. They took the lives of the children and he participated in the act to cover all of that up, which is just as bad as the act itself in the law's eyes. It can be. Kent reminds you of Stacy Wandrameep. Oh, good one. Yeah, you know what? You're right. Creepy like that, right? Yeah, Kent's a Craigslist creeper. He's a playground watcher. He likes to roll himself down to the playgrounds and stare at all the kids running through the water, just like Stacy Wander did. Licking his ice cream, wanting to exchange numbers and talk and trade bubble gum and baseball cards with the 12-year-olds. You hear that, Kent? I re-listened to Sonny's part 2 interview with Darren, said C Legal. He made a comment that I haven't heard before. He said that when Lily screamed, JM's dog would bite her. The hidden dog or Fluffy. Well, I don't believe a fucking word that comes out of his mouth. He says everything just to have you listen and question. Why don't you try next time you see him, have him answer a question for you instead of get doused and spammed with all of his nonsense. Who fucking cares what you think, Derwood?
Are we listening? Are they listening? Are people listening to us right now?
Yes. You wanted that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem. Don't let Nova finish too. I won't interrupt her. Sorry.
No, it's okay. You're good.
I'm done.
Okay. Listen, folks, will you please, now I'm going to throw a little speculation at everybody because if I'm telling the truth, it's speculation anyway. So I want you to consider something. Everybody's screaming that the kids are missing. But would you consider this? Malaya hasn't been charged with anything yet. And so...
No, but Danny has, Darren. What do you think about that, fun boy? Danny's been charged. SA. Implementing you as enabling an accessory after the fact to an offender who's on the registry or soon to be on the registry. 666 says LFMAO, the RCMP in their dress uniforms arresting them. Oh yeah, they were just on parade. They were just on parade and they're out walking the dog just past this bed and breakfast that Darren was staying at. They had to pull out the tasers because the call came through. Book them. And that call will be coming through, and Jordan knows that. He even knows the dog. The only person he knows there is the dog. Of course he'd know the dog. Dirty devil.
So she actually holds custody of both Jack and Lily. Legally, she's their mother. So she can still transport Jack and Lily as she's their legal mother. And she can take them to her family, like on the reserve. The reserve isn't hiding the kids. The reserve is, this is my speculation now, folks. The reserve is not hiding the kids. The reserve is taking care of the kids and protecting the kids. And there's a very good reason why Malaya's not...
This is like such early Darren Geddes. He sounds like that stranger danger. He sounds like he's offering kids candy at the playground. Would you kids like some candy? Do you guys know where my little doggy is? Do you want to come see my little doggy? What's going on, Katie? That's a damn big taser, girl. Just like the one Ernie Shell got this morning. Ernie had another episode. He got booked. They took him into custody. He had gun charges in Kentucky. You can go over to his channel and check out. He was recording it all. I wish he was running down the highway again for this one. But anyway.
Not coming out right now is because there's some legal stuff going on. And if the kids turned up right now, then Malaya is automatically going to be charged with giving a false statement about them being in the woods. And then she'd be charged with giving a false statement about abduction.
What else there, Darren? Listen to all the things. This is like a veiled threat towards Malaya in a public setting. Well, who beat you to the punch on that one? It was a real buzzer beater, that SA charge. Forcible confinement, assault.
So she she'd be pretty liable for a lot of one of the most expensive searches in Canada, and she'd also be liable for falsifying a report about
It's like he's bragging.
Criminal act, abduction. So her lawyer is probably advising her to be quiet, and it's probably good advice until there's a couple legal hearings in court going on, and there's a gag order on it all, so I can't say anything about it. But if
oh Jesus, that's a surprise. That's a surprise. Old Derwood can't say anything about it. Well, you just did. What is gag order? I can't say nothing on it. I know where that line is. Mm-hmm. Dude is just a mill of bullshit. Ginger says, well, both Daniel and Janie also said that they were in the woods and now saying that they were abducted. That nothing, they've never linguistically committed to one thing. That would have been the first thing. You guys want an Amber Alert so bad, that would have been out way back at that point in time. You would have had what they call a reason, context, a purpose. You're just too busy word salading and spamming the world with all of these half-finished sentences, hoping that people give you sympathy in the moment. That's what it's been like every step of the way with this situation. Christine says that he's sick in the head, a twisted a-hole. You've got to be talking about Darren Geddes, absolutely 100% on money. Okay, so would Derwood Explorer Corps, also known as Darren Geddes, be held criminally responsible? A gag order since when? Yeah, he's just full of shit. Criminally responsible? Nah, who knows what's really true. But for what we know of Darren right now, there's a reason why he's doing all of this. That has nothing to do with the words that come out of his mouth. That's all you really need to focus on with this asshole, with everything that you've come to learn about him, with all the things that he's come to say. None of the words that he comes out with, or very few of them, unless he's leaking, really have any significance. But the point is, he's a liaison for the prime suspects if you're in the investigation. Or if you're us, the guilty parties. They are guilty in this. But you're talking about charges, an accessory, at very least. He could be probably involved in disposing of evidence and or the body. You'd have to prove these things. But they're getting there. Imagine when they twist and spin things in the moment. They're going to come and question old Darren right away. He'll be in that loop. No doubt about it. It would be impossible for the RCMP not to continue to question and monitor his punk ass. He's always presented himself as a person who knows more, no matter how many times he's saying he's speculating. Because you can say you're speculating, but your next, all of your language says that you completely believe what it is that you're saying. Nobody speaks like that, you dumbass. Nobody says speculating, then goes to say all of the craziest shit in this sort of situation and starts speaking from a place of knowledge. Not unless you're schizophrenic. There's a reason why you're doing it. And it's not because you're a poor communicator. You just fancy yourself a ladies' man, a charmer. But you're anything but, you old fool. Yeah, right, Meep. That's what I'm suggesting. As far as I'm concerned, in that part of Nova Scotia, it's illegal to be a huge fucking douchebag like that. I'm a call Crime Stoppers.
If this turns out to go in the favor of the sovereign nations, then I think you're going to see the kids publicly show up shortly after that decision.
See, you remember when Michelle Glasgow down at the chief from the Res, the cousin of Malaya, called the individual that would suggest such things as a racist fool. She was talking about this guy. That's quoted in is that the Globe? I believe it's a Globe and Mail. Here's an example of what it is she's saying, and you can track it back all the way to the beginning from its source, which is this stunned "See you next Tuesday" on your screen, Derwood O'Grady, Darren Geddes, the father of Jordan Geddes. And he's a racist fucking douche, and he leaves those similar racy rants in your comment section. You'll recognize it from them. It's not like there's many people that have the same perspective as Derwood does on life. It's fairly unique and shallow and ignorant.
Because there's a struggle between the native CPS they have their own child protective services units, and there's a struggle right now legally in the courts between the native CPS and the Canadian CPS. So they're even okay. I almost slipped and said something about the hearing, and I can't do that.
Yeah. Be careful.
Yeah, I got a big mouth, you know that, and yes, I probably overrun you in the blabber department, Sonny. so I don't want to make a habit.
Well, there's a fact that's very rare that dickhead here will ever come forward with facts. He does have a bigger mouth, and he's more of a blabbermouth than Sonny Austin. Absolutely factual in this case. He just loves to talk, and he loves to tell you, "Oh, I'm just such a charismatic guy." You should be like on SCTV, bro. Oh, Stuff Warrior, thank you, darling, for that super sticker. I appreciate that. Thumbs up to you. Mwah.
But please consider that Malaya has him in charge. She's still Jack and Lily's mother. She still has full legal custody of Jack and Lily. So if
well, right now, when you have that thought coming back from Derwood's perspective, Darren, he insists through all of these campaigns of disinformation on everybody's YouTube live stream that he frequented that Patty wanted to get him involved. And after a while, when people followed up on that, it was stated that that's simply not true. He wants to be perceived as family to both sides and all this, and has every reason to be associated with it. It's eerie how Kent has the same similar outlook and application. It's like you guys are stalker brothers. You guys are flaming stalker brothers. You hope DM was cuffed at work, says C Legal. It was Monday, he would have been at work. Are you sure? Stress leave. It would have been more embarrassing having his coworkers observe it all. Yeah, I really wished I saw a perp walk. Let's see. Yeah, DMs on stress leaves just like Jordan is Brandy. They can't hack it. They're worried. You think he's not going to be caught dead at work? They're all awake at 6 a.m. when most people are asleep, but 3 hours later, all asleep. Yeah, it's amazing what their mornings were like. Hectic morning. They get up and then they go back to bed. It's what you do. Lifestyles of the rich and famous. What are you talking about, Meep? You can't look at his left tit. That's not really a breast. That's his nipple. It's protruding out of his undersized t-shirt. It's probably just older and he's put on weight. Alum, this town gossip and busybody who likes to insert himself into everyone's business. Yeah, you got that right. This local case is the highlight of his life. That's the way that it sounds, Ellen. There's more to it, though, when you get to know this fruitcake. Claudia Schmuck. Janie emphasizes how Lily is afraid of bugs and likes to be clean, but always says on Thursday afternoon that Lily was looking for bugs with Jack. Either she doesn't like bugs or she does. Unless Listen, I know she contradicts herself. Sea Legal says, I thought he returned to work a while ago. DM would now be on embarrassment leave. He's likely a liability to Group Savoy. Girl, you get the hook of the day. Awesome roast. Oh, yeah, girl. Let's see. Helicopter Grandma DM said on an interview that Jack and Lily hated to be cold and wet. So tell me why, DM, they would go outside in the rain early in the morning. Yeah, it's one thing. Hey, listen, there's no reason for kids to go outside. Usually when kids wander, they're hungry in that sense. Yeah, they'll go with anyone, especially if you offer them food or water. The necessities of life.
Decided, no, I'm saying this is speculation, people.
Speculation. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to come out later, and that's fine. And I think I'll be vindicated pretty good for all the criticism I've taken. But there's nothing illegal about what she tried to do. In other words, taking her children and leaving Lansdowne Road. There's nothing illegal about that. And there's nothing illegal that if she has her children and she put them in with her family on the reserve, the Brookses, and they're all around her, and there's nothing illegal about her doing that. So you've got to consider that everybody's screaming about she's hiding them and all that. No, they're not really being hidden. They're not really being hidden. They're speculating. They're with her family, and that's why she acts like she's not concerned.
The more you can tell, he's so bad at lying in this circumstance. You know what he's lying? He precedes it with speculating. He has to tell you over and over and over again, but emphatically tell you all of this information. Nothing says disinforming like that. That's literally presenting somebody with both sides. Oh, I'm just speculating. Well, then you should shut up. Why is it you're coming out with this information? All of this nonsense garble, and it goes far beyond that. You just can't stop yourself there, sonny boy.
About her missing children, because they're not really missing.
The kids aren't really missing. Derwood, do you remember those days? The kids aren't really missing everybody. Kids aren't even really missing you guys. God. Just speculating, of course. Just speculating. Just speculating, please. Oh, I love this. That's Derwood getting his just desserts with a taser right in the tits and the belly. Prolonged taser. And we've got Johnny the canine, the sniffer dog, coming in just to take Derwood right out. What do you think of that now, fat boy? Yes, those poor children, says Darlene. No child should go to bed hungry. No one should, no doubt. Anastasia, Darlene, that comment bothered me from the beginning of the case. I never heard of such a thing. Oh, of course, Callie. It's not even worth arguing. It's we're here observing just how much of a bullshitter this asshole is. Disregard any of the statements that he's trying to convince people of. We're observing the sentence structure and standout words to everybody. It's just an example of the type of scumbag that he was and is and still continues to be.
Yeah.
Now, there's one other thing I want to say, and I'll shut my gob.
Fine.
Everybody's screaming that if Malaya would just open her mouth and reveal the kids, then this would all be cleared up. Well, there's the reason why she's not doing that. It's under legal advice. But there's something I want everybody else to look at. If the RCMP would have opened their mouth on the third day, this wouldn't have been. The RCMP are being a lot more silent than even Malaya is being. So it's the RCMP that have dragged this out, and that'll be proven later, I'm sure.
Think about what he's trying to do there. Oh, it's all of a sudden the RCMP's fault for what exactly? Usually when you open your mouth, you should have a point, Derwood. And your point never really comes to the surface in all of this.
But for now, that's just my speculation.
So,
So people,
You
don't
didn't even
take
finish
me
your
that I know
statement.
everything, because I certainly don't. And as far as Daniel did say a few lies, but and as far as me lying,
Yeah.
you've got to understand some of the lies I told weren't even direct lies.
So old Derwood is talking about some of the lies Daniel's told already in this case. Amazing, isn't it? And he's already acknowledged Derwood's lying. He just told everybody that he's lying right now. You're lying now, but they're not direct lies. Like somehow that's just a fantastic thing. That's okay. That makes everything hunky-dory. This is why I love statement analysis, my friends. And of course, Mike DeMann has opened my world up using his framework, which is PLAIDS, priority, leakage, avoidance, intentions, distancing language, and sensitivities. But there's more frameworks, but they're all interconnected, interwoven. People like to focus on different things. But none of that was really necessary to identify how stupid this fucking asshole is when he just out and out admits that he's lying and in amongst everything else, because he's that confident he doesn't think anybody will care. They just want to hear his voice. Sky Painter Boom Tunes 2974 says the Martells, Mackenzies, and the Geddes family are all in on a cover-up, in your opinion. There's strong evidence for that, my friend.
So anyway,
yeah.
so look,
No, go ahead.
That's all I want to say. I don't want to take over. I don't want to dominate. I just want to.
No, but
think about that. The kids were in the woods. There's no abduction. So the big crimes here are that Malaya made 2 mistakes. She told the cops 2 lies. And other than that, she hasn't done anything illegal as far as taking the kids to her family or transporting the kids wherever she wanted. So there's no big crime here. There's no murder. There's no nothing.
Is that right? Well, there we've got Derwood introducing the word of red rum. Really? There's no nothing. Just speculating, of course. There's just no crime. Nothing's happened. Could you imagine this asshole just coming out and telling everybody there's 2 kids missing, presumed dead, and he wants you to subscribe to magical thinking and there's no crime that's happened? And ask yourself who that benefits the most and who he would be speaking for, considering all of the nonsense rhetoric that you've heard come by way of the individuals. Well, Janie and Daniel. Let's simplify it.
There's a little scared girl, scared of confrontation, that tried to sneak away from a relationship, and it blossomed into this.
There's a little scared girl that snuck away from a relationship. Think about how it is that he's trying to represent Malaya at this point in time, considering the charges that Daniel is facing. Like, this is Daniel, or this is Darren Geddes throwing out. It's a form of harassment by proxy. They're threats. You're saying it in a demeaning manner, trying to send her a message, that side of message. You know things will get back to her, especially things that people are talking about. So here's idiot trying to minimize what we already know. Daniel is going to be on the hook for it, and he's going to be facing starting March 2nd in front of the courts. Marla that's quite a name. Maria Valverde Boutier. Oh, beautiful name. Maria Valverde Boutier. 7370 says, gross how he talks about the mother. Yes.
Beautiful, whatever you'd call it. So that's my speculation.
Yeah.
But I've got one wicked whack of circumstantial proof and testimony behind me. So that thank you very much.
No, wait. I need to ask you something before you let me go, because it's bugging me.
Don't spin me off. Don't spin me off on something crazy now.
I'm not going to spin you off. Don't worry.
Okay.
I know.
I'll I'll answer if I can.
Well, so no, it's probably just something minor that you can clear up. I just wanted in my brain to understand, and I know this is what in regards to Janie, but you could clear this up.
Are you single?
Janie, she did report all that stuff that day, right, to the RCMP.
First day. One statement to the Mounties.
Okay, that's all I wanted to hear was because I think people think that she didn't report it.
Great point. Hold on. Explorecore says, why does Derwood claim to be related to Malaya while at the same time say that the children are with her family? Oh, because he's just that much more distant from the people he's trying to talk about. What do you mean, Jennifer? What do you mean, why now? Why did I mute? I had to cough. That was my cough button. Ruby, you'd love to see a Derwood spinoff? Yo, Brian.
Oh, he did. No, sir, he did right off the bat.
Okay.
And the other myth that's going on that everybody's built up in their magnificent brains is that they're saying Janie never allowed the Mounties into her trailer, and that's not the truth. Janie told the Mountie, the woman Mountie that asked into the trailer, she said, well, my dog's into the trailer, so if you want to go into the trailer, you might get bit. You might get bitten, so I'm not taking any responsibility if you get bitten by my dog. And then the Mountie pissed her off because after Janie telling her that Lily made the dog bark, Lily screaming made the dog bark, you know what the Mountie said to her? Oh, well, maybe the chickens made the dog bark too, and that's all it took to piss Janie off.
Well, what was I just going to say? I was going to say something.
Oh, wow, Derwood, you're quite the storyteller. Too bad none of your stories have any point to them, you fat fuck.
For the kids, because I was going to put one up this year. Waiting for Daniel to help me build the fence, because he had to go look for his tools. Then after that, when Daniel came and helped me with put the 2x4s up, or the boards up on the fence, I continued with the fence. Then I came back in to get something to eat. I don't know what time the kids went inside.
What are you talking about in my chat there, Steph Warrior? I'm single, but you won't find me on a dating site anymore. I would probably get matched with someone like Kent or Derwood, or better yet, Daniel Martel, in his shirtless selfie. And that's not even the bathroom. That's actually his bedroom if you look closely. Shit hanging off the walls. He's holding his breath. Are you sending out signals to the YouTube sphere, Steph Warrior? Steph is single, everybody. As long as you're not anything like Kent, Derwood, or Daniel, you should be golden. C Legal said, Darren said in part 2 interview with Sonny, is that when Major Crimes called Daniel? Both he and JM were there listening. DG trashed Jordan, Darren. He trashed his son Jordan. Major Crimes, not his son with the same name. Oh, the other Jordan from Major Crimes. Okay, I got what you're saying. This shit makes me want a cigarette, but I quit 4 months ago, says the real Norbeaster. And no artard is gonna make me restart. Oh, ah! Good one. Roast coming.
Or what time they went to bed or anything. And then Friday morning, I get up at 6 o'clock. I sat here and played on Facebook. I sent a thing to my brother at 6:24. And then 7 o'clock, I went out.
Jennifer, you keep asking this question in my live chat all the time. You're the only one. Go ask the RCMP. Could be everything. There's nothing I consider suspicious. They do everything for a reason. It probably has to do with having enough information to recognize that they can press charges on Daniel in light of the greater scenario that they have with his situation with Jack and Lily. We don't know what it is that she knows. number one. We don't know what it is that she knows. We don't know for 100 what happened. We know enough to be incredibly suspicious of the next step. There's enough to be and hold these people and recognize them that they're withholding guilty knowledge, but we don't know yet what that knowledge is. That would put us in a place that you're trying to bring to my YouTube live chat. You're putting yourself there, getting yourself confused. No, you know what I'm saying? I mean, why suddenly do this SA case? Well, better late than never. There's all kinds of factors that go into filing charges in front of the courts, and it's relevant to time. What is it that you're implying? Let me know in my chat. What is it that you're thinking?
And I did up the chickens, and I came back in. I sat here. I played on Team U, which is the worst thing you can get addicted to. And then my brother called me at 8:48, talked for 2 minutes and 59 seconds. He asked me if I was going to town. I said no. I said I'm staying home. I'm going back to bed to have a sleep. I went back to bed. It wasn't long after that. I can't tell you how long. I laid there for a little while playing on Facebook. I dozed off. I heard the dog bark. The kids were outside. I heard the kids. And then after that, I didn't hear nothing. Everything just went completely silent. And I don't know how long after that, I heard Daniel yelling for the kids. I figured he was yelling at the kids to get inside. I asked her what's up, and that's when she told me the kids were missing for 20 minutes. That I cannot tell you. I did not look at my phone at the time.
Guys, don't ask me about the time. I did not look at my phone at any part of the time. Let me see. Janie's going to town. Janie gets pissed off a little too easy. Imagine what the kids went through with her. Heaven's sakes. AB, the ball has started rolling at last, absolutely. Especially now that it paints a greater picture of what happened to Jack and Lily and the circumstances that they're living with a person on the hook for SA and forcible confinement, most likely to MBM in that sense. The evidence from MBM may have taken her time to voice, admit, and share. It's not an easy experience for a victim to go through the process, right? I hear you, Janie. Even when the police are helping. I mentioned JM's dog and possibly biting Lily, says C Legal, because MD did a few deep dives about JM's dogs. Yeah. You mean Mike? Fluffy 1 and 2. Yeah, that's right. Many are wondering if the kids were attacked by her dog. No matter what the answer is to that, I still feel that it's secondary to the attacks that the kids were going through by way of Daniel. IMO. Helicopter Grandma, worst thing to get addicted to is Timu. JM, what about other addictions you probably have? How about the addiction to lying? Addicted to what else do you think she's hooked on? Danny's magic medicine? He will not be able to live with children if he becomes an RSO. May save other kids' lives in the future, in your opinion. That's right, Nero, among other things. The good news for Daniel is that there's an ever-growing list, unfortunately, of female sex offenders. You might want to get hooked up on a site with that. Yeah, Meep, I don't think so either with the dog attack. But, the question was worth raising considering the contradiction there is out there and with Belinda's statements and everything. It's worth talking about. Does they have it could be, we don't know what happened. It could be one thing. It could be several things that led to the end of either child's life. Sadly. Most of us are too nice and too pleasant-minded to want to go to all of the creepy places in that sense and just forecast them. It's not so necessary to forecast that, considering there's going to be enough evidence to charge them and proceed, especially when Danny gets found guilty with all of this. Imagine the information at that point that we're going to find out, that we're going to begin to learn. And it's all going to center around the environment in which the kids were living in. Now that it's going to be recognized that the poor kids were living around a person who was assaulting their mother in a sexual manner, that's going to be a real big problem. They're going to have all kinds of reasons to ask him certain questions in a certain way and focus on it. No, Yennefer, I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, AB, why would you do this now? No, you didn't. No, you didn't, girl. Sorry about my typos, Amy says. I'm stretching to my laptop over paintbrushes. Steph Warrior, no, I'm ready for spring. Hear that. I wonder if Cindy got a text from Malaya back in December when she had the U-Haul ready. Jack had a black eye around that time as well. Maybe he threatened if she tried to leave again, what he would do to the kids. Would you put any of that past him? Yeah, you know it, Brandy Lindy. In all of her interviews, I've never heard the chickens. You heard them in the CBC interview. Clucking. It was a rooster. But they're a big part to the case with Jack. The chickens, you think? Could be. You mean, well, they were all living with the chickens. They were just outside. The chickens knew what was going on.
At the time, I just know that after I heard the kids, I dozed off again, and then my dog woke me up. I can't tell you the time in between, but I know that when I left here, after I seen Malaya standing out there and asked her what was up, and she told me that Jack and Lily were missing, and I said, how long? She said about 20 minutes. After that, as I said, I come in, got my boots on, and I went up the hill, and I met Daniel, as I said, up the top of the old road just above my RV. So if you look at the map or the aerial view of my place, I don't know if it shows you or not, but if you look at an aerial map of it, you will see an old road just up the top of the hill here. So when I get up at the top of the hill, I seen Daniel, and I asked him if he found the kids yet. He was in the vehicle, in Malaya's vehicle, and he said no. And he asked me if I was going with him. I said no. I said I'm going to search this area here. And I walked my property line plus a little bit more, where my RV and the trailer is, up to that top of the road. I walked up there, walked around along the old road and down, and came around by the 289, and then came back up the same spot, and that would be where the kids' little forts are. Oh, and just to let you know, whatever I'm saying to you is what I told the investigators, exactly the same thing of what I heard. And I even went and reenact what I think happened. And to tell you the truth, if I was a child that was in a fence and got out of it and was running, yes, I would be excited to go. And those kids are always excited when they're running around because they're always screaming and hollering. Believe me, I know. I observed it for 2 years out back here. As I said, that's a question I can't answer. As the dog barked when he heard them outside, and then it went completely silent, And my dog never said a word after, or never barked, never barked after that until he heard Daniel yelling for Lily and Jack. So, you can all make your speculations or your opinions or whatever. That's all I can tell you. Well, she's coming from Wentworth. So, the only thing I can do is put my address to Wentworth and see how far it is. Even if it is an hour and 45 minutes or an hour and a half or whatever, I don't know. I don't know her address over there. Still, it would take her a while to get.
So here's another another moment in time where we can recognize at this point where Janie was obviously lying about her reasons of being suspicious of Cindy. In that sense, the time checked out that Cindy arrived from when she talked to Cindy after we got some of the unredactions from the paperwork. So looking back from that point, we can now recognize that Janie here was relying on bold-faced lie. And she put a lot of work into that lie.
Get here. Just the kids that morning. But here is something that I want to ask you guys and get your input. If the kids were out in the yard by themselves, let's just say.
So here we go. How rehearsed is that? The same thing that she presented in the exact same manner she presents, Allie at the CBC when she called them, Janie called them to come over and do her interview. And she started coming across like this was a live Jeopardy, posing, statements in the form of questions. And here she's doing it. It's rehearsed. It's her script. It's her shtick. She's trying to create an illusion in your mind. Completely opposite from being factual, basing something in the things that we've known. She's immediately getting away from that. She's asking you to voluntarily leave your common sense behind and start putting yourself in outside of your normal senses and see things and believe her for just this thing right now. So disgusting to listen to her lie like this. It's the exact same word for word BS crap line that you gave for what exactly you're trying to get across. No idea.
And they get out of the gate and we're running up the driveway. I would know, or I would think the kids would be saying, especially Lily, come on Jackie, let's go Jackie, because that's all she ever did was say that. Even up in the woods with my other two grandchildren, if Jack is sitting there looking for bugs, Lily's usually saying, come on Jackie, let's go. So that's another thing I can't understand is if I never heard the kids running. If the kids were running out of the yard, out of the gate, out of the fence, my dog would have still been barking. As I said, because of Lily's loud scream and hollering. So, as I said, I heard the kids out here in the yard by the swings. And then I heard completely silence. So you guys can have your opinions or you guys have your speculations or whatever. But I'm just saying, in my opinion, why didn't I hear the kids longer?
Explore course saying, hold on, where did that go? Helicopter Grandma says 100% rehearsed and someone helped her rehearse it, in your opinion. And I have my idea who it was. Oh, like big old Danny boy? Danny. And guess who else helped? Darren, Derwood. They say everything. Spent way too much time trying to create an illusion with all the possibilities without actually saying or committing to any one thing. just want to focus on how this couldn't be true now as opposed to 20 minutes ago when you told me the complete opposite, and especially 911 dispatch. So you really have no idea. You were saying you really have no idea what happened in and around that trailer at any one point in time for at least 16 hours. And you want us to believe, Danny, that there is nothing worth remembering in the first place. You guys have contradicted yourself to the point where nothing that you say is credible to this point, because you've said everything. Something happened. They're playing that old game with the RCMP that they're going to have to figure it out on their own, and that's exactly what they're doing with this latest SA charge and the others. They're following through in what they're recognizing in the coercive control in Daniel and Malaya's relationship. And just what they admit. With some questioning, they got further, and she provided enough evidence where they put S-exual onto it. That's serious. So the question then comes, which is now relevant, that asks, what else happened that they're not telling us? And what happened, and how did that exactly affect Jack and Lily? Daniel wants to talk about Jack and Lily in such an inappropriate manner with this weird bond that he claims to have had, and he's the only one who can control them. It's literally his words. Speaking about inappropriate ways to relate and talk about the two children who are missing and dead, you're looking at one prick on your screen, and Derwood falls under that as well. In an illegal manner.
If they get out of the fence and start running up the driveway or leaving the driveway, it says that she's on her way. Okay, on her way. Does that mean she's just leaving or she's already on her way? See, you gotta look at it both ways. And as I said earlier, if my kids were missing, I would be right on the phone. If my grandchildren were missing and I got a phone call saying that my grandchildren was missing, I wouldn't hesitate to drop whatever I was doing and hit the road and get here as fast as I could. I just looked at the phone messages thing again that said that she was on her way at 12:01. Okay, it's approximately, she lives in Wentworth, it's approximately about 2 hours and a half to 2 hours and 45 minutes from her place. So that would make her be here about 2 o'clock. No, she was way here before that. She was not here at 2 o'clock. So there's something wrong there because...
Yeah, what that something that's wrong is you. In your story, we come to find out. No news. He's out, but on restrictions, of course, Daniel is. If he violates any, he can go back in. He's violating one right now. If Jack had a voice, he'd say, I hate him, Yennefer said. I think you're right with that. Sierra says, the comment about culverts and the raking made me think of that. Meep Daniel said he had to do everything. He had to do everything to do with Jack and Lily, so seems Malaya was lazy. She had everything. He listed everything. Getting the kids up, getting them to school, getting them to sleep, cooking for them, cleaning up after them. Wouldn't that just come with the territory of being in the house and part of a family? That's usually the things that you do anyway. But why is it that you're using it against Malaya? As though that people are going to sit there and nod their heads like they were an RCMP officer in the interview room with you. And just eat that up.
She was here, and then she was here when my brother showed up, and he was here around lunchtime. So I don't know what the conflict is. I don't really care. But as I said, the only way you're going to find out the exact time is if she hands over her phone to the investigators and let them check. The only way you're going to find the truth out about that, which I have nothing to do with, is from Cindy and Malaya. I can only tell you that the time that...
Which, love the slip-ins, which I have nothing to do with, by the way. You know, all of this shit that I'm talking about them, I want you guys to know right now that I've got nothing to do with it. Just figure I'd slip that in. Slipping that in like Derwood slipping in, he's just speculating. But still yet continues to fly off at the mouth with all of his horse manure. His garbage breath. Don't forget MBM drove to DM to work, took his lunch and picked him up from work. Why? It's Daniel Mader. Why else? It's part of the control. Listen, you got to get the kids together and come and pick me up from work. You need to serve me. You need to serve your master. You can even bring me some sandwiches. When you get home, and if you're lucky, I'll make love to you in whatever way I feel. That's if you're lucky. JM, you are more concerned about Cindy and the time she got there. I hope Cindy didn't eat some of your sandwiches. I don't know. I wouldn't be eating any of the food. And who's bringing food? Really trying to create an illusion for the RCMP as well. What exactly are you guys trying to get across here with everybody there? Listen, everybody. Come on over and search. They got professional searchers coming in. They feel the need to go above and beyond that and take off away from the scene and go and start doing things. Whatever. Who knows? They didn't bring their phones, remember? Nothing suspicious about that. Sarcasm.
Thinking about it, and Janie said if I did the interview, she'd go on with me.
Okay. Well, that would be good. I mean,
I don't know because
yeah.
Janie's even more excitable than I am, so I'd like to have a really cool head and
Yeah.
be calm. You know what I mean?
Well, they'll just edit that part out if you're not. So.
Well, I wasn't going to. I haven't been talking to anybody like you guys, and I certainly won't talk to Dolly again because I know what I'd like to. The conversation I'd have with that turd, it wouldn't be very nice.
So he's burning through creators who don't buy his crap, and Dolly got a shout out. He doesn't like Dolly anymore because he didn't buy his nonsense, his garbage. Daniel put the kids to bed every night, Robin's saying. But that night he didn't. He put them in a grave. Sad but true, and he probably had help from Derwood in that sense. And after the fact, Kent. LOL Moon 3608. He doesn't seem very threatening, though. It's so dumb. See, people who are serious about doing things don't sit there and go to threatening and playing these stupid fucking games. They do that because they're cowards and they aren't going to do a goddamn thing. They threaten to create an illusion, like they're creating an illusion out of desperation because they have some association. They're guilty in that sense. And it's surely to protect themselves because it's all they can do. They can't talk you down with valid reasons as to why exactly our suspicions are invalid. That should tell you everything. This guy isn't going to do anything. He wants to tell you all about the things that he can do and all the tough guys that he thinks that he knows and how tough he used to be. Booze nose having bitch. No, that's all for show. It's all illusion. It's forcing you to go through the information that he's providing, where at a later date it comes into your mind and you can't recall exactly that or who said it. And somehow some shit in your mind sticks. That's how Derwood plays with all of this in an attempt to obfuscate, make it more unclear, all under the guise of you believing that he's got the best intentions of everything and Jack and Lily in mind. Couldn't be anything further from the truth. And that's not just speculation, that's an observation. Meep says Derwood looks like your sister's dog. Oh, the dog in the picture. I can't wait to see Daniel's handcuffed helicopter hands. That's going to be difficult. No more need to have helicopter hands. Daniel was cleaning that night, cleaning his sinister choices of red rum. Esther, that's not a real photo? Kind of is. It's based on a real photo. See legal when or with DV in the home, remember or regarding MBM, this opens the door to violence with any of the children in their care, especially how things escalate and using the children as a way to hurt the mother even more. She'll be in a position where she's going to be, let's say, in a position where they've had their fourth or fifth big blow up, their big row, their big fight. And Daniel doesn't have any more things that he can this time, like every time you use a threat and then go back from it, like these guys all like to talk, it's not as effective the next time you do it. So that's how you have to escalate it. You've got to one up yourself. You've got to threaten something even more precious to them, or break 4 glasses instead of 2. Do you see what I'm saying? So eventually when Daniel gets so frustrated after the last year, 2 years fighting nonstop, after imposing his will after 2 weeks through Facebook dating, moving into Patty's, getting kicked out, all of the lies and deceptions, things have escalated to a point where he's gotten to the kids. Where nothing that he does to Malaya is going to change anything. So he's going to one-up himself. He's going to escalate, and he's going to turn and hurt Jack, then Lily, then Jack. It wasn't the first time. The fact that he's telling us all of the things that he's doing for Jack and Lily in a way that's misogynistic and not fitting, not suitable for the situation that he claims to be in with Malaya, would tell you that he has ample opportunity to give those poor children those black eyes. Just like he was. Just like Earl slapped him a little bit and Janie hit him. Helicopter Grandma is talking about Dickwood and can't think that they're heroes. Maybe the next song in the band is I Fought the Claw and the Claw Won. Are you kidding me? The roasts just keep on coming, friends. Given that DM had 2 accidents after L and J went missing and Janie does not allow him to drive, or made sure to mention he's not allowed, I wonder if DM has DUI history. This is why Malaya had to drive him. He's definitely got some issues in that sense. I don't have his record in that sense to speak to. See, legal in retrospect, I'm certain Allie from the CBC is glad she kept that 5 or so person distance from SA or DM. That's only a 1 person distance. I think it might have been a wide span camera lens. Maybe there was more in the one I just didn't notice. Janie and Earl in the new shiny bracelets. Oh, yeah. That picture makes me wet, Darren. I thought DM lost his license a few times. Who knows where this stands now, right? Probably for not having a license. He's probably caught up in that cycle, but still chooses to drive anyway. He doesn't care. Darlene, you bet Earl and Janie had some battles during their marriage? I don't think that they were ever actually technically married. They're just shacking up. Word on the street is that they're cousins. One can only imagine how Daniel hit those children to give them a black eye. Exactly, Sky Maiden. People were telling me in my comments section, they have a clip of Kent trying to normalize that behavior. He was all up in people's conversations on Facebook talking about how it's normal for kids to have black eyes. Can you believe that? That's true. I'm not just making that up. Jennifer, do I think Daniel's feeling nervous right now? Absolutely. He knows the end is near. This charge has changed Daniel because he's not getting away with anything. He knows that the truth is coming out little by little, and he's desperate to hold on to any piece of some sort of information he has over the cops or someone else. But the more that we learn, the more obvious it becomes, and it's only going to have to go that way for just a little bit. That's what I said, Kelly. I said, there's nothing normal about people having black eyes. People, not just children, anybody, especially children. Nothing normal about that, Kent, just so we're clear on where we stand. But you endorse what would otherwise be known as CA, child abuse. That's what Kent does. Yes, Sky Maiden, you grew up with 8 siblings, and you used to fight and carry on, and nobody ever got a black eye? Yeah, no doubt. Nobody ever gets a black eye. The only time... Actually, one time... actually, it does happen. Very low percentage. So I was pitching... I was trying to throw my curveball to my girlfriend in my backyard. Absolutely true. Can you believe this? And it was a regular 8-inch hardball. I just built this pitcher's mound with dirt, and I put up this backstop, and I was going to practice my curveball. This is way back in like 2001. And I had this thing on hot. And I had to show my girlfriend. I was so excited. So I got her. Nobody else was around, it was just me and her. I got her to put on a mitt. I just figured that she knew how to play baseball okay. But you never quite tell, especially what the ball's going to do if you don't tell them what's coming in that sense. I didn't tell her what was coming. I just up and pitched it. And she missed it, and it got her right in the eye. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. And I mean, it wasn't the hardest pitch I've ever thrown, but it didn't matter. It caught her smack right in that eye. I tended to her right away. She cried, and I was so sorry for it. But that happens. I mean, this is why you wear a catcher's mitt. You don't do that. She wasn't crouching down. We weren't doing any live pitching, but it happened. I threw it at her. I felt bad because I threw it at her in that sense. But it pissed me off because we didn't play catch after that. I wanted to throw the ball around, right? That kind of ruined that. But, you know. And then when I was telling people, I was worried that they weren't going to believe me. And I'm telling you, man, this shiner was closed right shut. It was a perfect circle. Of course, it was baseball. It couldn't have got her any. It was a perfect strike right on that eyeball. Oh yeah, the poor girl. Her name's Sherry. She was in pain. Oh, I felt bad, but we got over it in that sense. We got past it. Like, she's a trooper in that sense, but at least obviously she still lived. She would have been telling people that it was me slapping her upside the head or something. But no, but that's what we were talking about. Like, watch nobody believe you when you go and tell them that you were hit with this baseball now. People are going to worry that I'm some sort of, violent offender in this sense. Really put a damper on my day. And back then I'm thinking, oh shit. I've had black eyes, but they have come from fights in that sense. When you get a black eye, it's usually because you have to take a punch. Once I hit my brother bad because we had an argument. The mirror broke. We had to pay the repair. I tore a hotel front door off one time. I didn't think it was actually going to come off, and it did. Fuck. Guess I'm paying for it. Let's not go there. Explore Core. Well, at least it was not coming off a bat. I once got a major goose egg off my forehead. Didn't get me started in my body, on my bloody shins. Oh yeah, Explore Core. I still feel bad for that throw.
But you guys are the only ones I'd consider talking to, which is, I haven't talked to you in a while because I'm sick of any flashback. But I think people are starting to wise up a little bit. I think people are starting to use some more common sense.
Yeah.
And so things are calming down. That's for sure. And I hope this doesn't ignite more because, I don't want that. And I am just trying to do what's right. I'm trying to.
I know.
And people, I'm telling you, it's the RCMP that's got this dragged on. And I'll tell you one reason that the RCMP are scared, because when this does come out, let alone if those kids just come out alive, it's going to prove that I was telling the truth about a lot of stuff. The RCMP are going to look like goofs, and they don't want another OCA.
Pink,
and I'm telling
Sky
you,
Maiden.
the boys on the reservations, they're wound up too. That they don't want the RCMP and CPS going on their land again, and I don't blame them.
Yeah.
Because the native CPS system is a lot better than the Canadian one. They take a lot better care of their kids and their...
This guy is just such a fucking racist idiot in that sense. Like, what a twat. He's like the definition of a TWAT, capital TWAT, twat. He's not speaking truth. He's taking up time with all kinds of nonsense, racially based misinformation in light of Jack and Lily being gone. Telling you that no crime has been committed. Ha ha ha, no way, no need to worry. They don't want another OCA. Oh yeah. Yeah, they don't want another OCA. There's suddenly a golf course involved in all of this. That golf course was nicer than your shithole. Worried about an OCA. Delusions of grandeur, Darlene, applied here. Wonder how Danny Bernardo is going to talk this down and twist it, Norbeaster's saying. Can't go back now, Daniel. Look at who's effing laughing now, the Norbeaster wants you to know. You hear that, Darren? This is just step one. More coming down the pipeline, Danny Boy. Meep 2576 is reminding you. That's absolutely true. Great comments tonight, friends.
People, and they're
yeah, you know what? I don't disagree with that. I was already reading up on that, and I don't doubt that Malaya's lawyer is Michael McDonald, the chief's brother, on there. Is it different?
Well, I've been there, slipped and said something before.
Michael McDonald, like from the Doobie Brothers? Fantastic musician, by the way. They don't... This is just step one. Yes, I saw that. Let me see here. They're stacking those charges, I hear you.
But is that name wrong? Is it wrong that I'm saying that? If I think that?
Let me think all right, let's put it this way. If in any case like that, say the initial lawyer that's involved is a criminal lawyer,
right?
A specialist in criminal law,
yeah, and
this case turns into a child protection services case,
right?
Wouldn't it be wise for the criminal lawyer to
think about what he's trying to say there? What a complete moron. Darren, You're a complete fucking moron, dude. Like, no, who even thinks about that? What does one thing have to do with the other? You're presenting a bunch of separate things and asking the person to tie them together in their mind just so you can make a point in the moment. Holy fuck, is that painful to listen to? I mean, holy shit. If you weren't so stupid and funny in that sense, Darren, this would be just so boring. I can't imagine.
Handed over to an expert in child law.
Yeah, gotcha.
So, in a lot of cases, I think that's what happens. So
It's like everything that he says is inverted at the end. It's like every statement ends in a question in fast, rapid succession. Holy hell. Is that what you're like down at the Tim Hortons, Darren? The one that you used to be able to go to? Now everybody down at the Tim Hortons know that you're a dirty old man.
Okay.
Let's put it that way.
Okay. Well, today's the second anniversary for the month. Today's the second, so 2 months exactly today, Jack and Lily.
Isn't that sad for something that should have lasted 3 days?
Absolutely on that one. So, Darren, I am. Whenever you ever want to talk, you have a space. I do. It would be nice if you and Janie did go on the news yourself, if you feel like that's what you would like to do. Anything,
yeah.
If it's anything to help bring awareness to Jack and Lily.
That's what it's all about. Doing the hokey pokey, baby.
Children, they could have whatever they wanted. My fridge was like one of those doors when you go into a store. It would open and close all the time. My oldest granddaughter would come in here and she would take snacks for all of them and pack them in her backpack and go up to the camp. And another thing, the backpack thing. I've never seen Lily outside with that backpack.
Yeah, Derwood and Kent are all pissed off because they used to get together and watch all the young boys come through the drive-thru after hockey practice out there in New Glasgow.
Backpack. Daniel told me that they always tried to keep her from taking it outside, but I've never seen her with that pack. The only time outside playing, but the time I did see her with the backpack is when my two other grandchildren would come down. She'd want a backpack too because the oldest grandchild had a backpack and she wanted to be just like her and have a backpack. And another thing, when we go walking up the old road here, up the top of the hill here, up above my place there, if Jack didn't want to walk, Jack wouldn't walk. He would stand there and he would I'd say, "Come on, Jack, we're gonna walk." He would stand there and he would stamp his feet, fold his arms, and just look at me. And I'd say, "Come on, Jack, we're going for a walk." I'd have to go and take him by the hand to make him walk. Jack was a kid, if he didn't want to do something, he wasn't going to do it. Lily, she would walk along. I'd have to yell at Lily, "Lily, wait up for us, wait up for us." But Jack, no. Jack would not move if you didn't take him by the hand and tell him to come on. Apparently Lily was the only one that was sick. I think the reason why Jack didn't go to school is because I did think Jack. I don't think she wanted Jack to go to school by herself. That's my opinion. They missed school to Thursday, yes.
Yeah, I notice a lot of the listeners, good on you guys, for pointing out in the comment section every time that you hear, especially Janie, there's a lot of them use like was when in reference to the kids, like referring to them in the past tense. Again, indicating that she's withholding guilty knowledge of the fate of Jack and Lily. Annie, are you okay? Just noticed Jack was a kid. Was. Absolutely. Michelle says MBM opens up about talking taking her kids to the store. Janie just said her fridge was like a store fridge. There was no sense of home, it seems. For Jack and Lily, no doubt. Imagine going out there and having all of these new rules to get used to. You don't know what's going to trigger old Danny and Grandma off there. Old Granny. The old bitch in the trailer. The RV. Oscar the Grouch. It must be a real nightmare. What's up with that weirdo in the driveway? Helicopter Grandma says, make him walk, Janie. How do you do that? Drag him? Yeah, you could have just said you had to carry him. You didn't have to go on about how weak you thought he was. The kid's a 4-year-old child in a new environment with a bunch of angry people. Might need some encouragement. Maybe he doesn't like the people he's around. That would be a major indicator of that. See Legal Canada. When they get to the Red Rum trial, I would love to hear their teacher and school staff testify to what they observed. That'll happen for sure. Yeah, eventually, Debbie, that's what we were talking about in the very beginning of this video. The comment is, he said, she said, they said, confusing so you don't know who to point the finger at, but not that good at the game they're playing. Yeah, and including purposefully telling you that they're not including any time alongside what she's saying, especially knowing enough to know that she's telling you that she's not, associating any time, but yet she didn't, for all this time, associate. There was a time associated to the things that you claim. You just don't want to tell us. But she continues to tell us that she just doesn't remember these particular times. Along with the statement. It's just so silly. Callie OG Hip. I think the teachers asked him how he got the black eyes and he told them. Yeah, it won't be until trial until maybe if we ever figure that out. It'll be far after the fact. I wonder how much he was able to open up to them. Poor little guy probably didn't know any better. He didn't recognize there was any difference. He was just trying to go day by day around that place. And it was circling the drain. Especially with crazy Danny's math habit. Daniel saw Lily with her backpack. He said she had H-A-D, her backpack. Not we think she took it or we couldn't find it. That's a great point, Robin Edwards. That's a great observation. She said she had to drag Jack through the woods. Yeah, she had to drag him through the woods. Very harsh language. Especially when you're starting to talk about children alone, 2 children who are missing at that point in time. Yeah, helicopter grandma. She did say that. So what she's doing is talking about how different she treated her biological grandchildren than Jack and Lily. And she goes to the extent of actually differentiating it, thereby explaining what it is that we're finding suspicious. And she thinks it's helping her look like a better person. And it's doing the opposite. Statement is, and did Janie not say that they could go into the fridge and get snacks when her grandchildren were there? Yep. She did the same thing with her dog at the very end by saying, and that's a dog. That's how proficient in the game, attentive I am. When I lose my dog, I go searching for it right away. I'm just a fantastic guy, and that's just a dog. Speaking in the context of a missing child case that she was there for. All of the empty hours that nobody wants to fill in as per what exactly they were doing during this time and why. One thing we do know is that they were in the midst of a very sad, disturbing, volatile, and toxic environment filled with open assaults. Think about the things that they witnessed Daniel do to Malaya. Not just see, but hear in that very small trailer. There's SA charges. These charges the kids were all witness to. They were all there and present. Probably being incorporated into the pressure that he was putting on her. Jennifer thinks Jack told the school how they were being treated. Yeah, you're right, because children speak in that environment through their behavior. Their behavior at such an early age tells us things. And that's exactly how the teachers at school would have been treating it.
They went to town Thursday around lunchtime. I have no idea what they went. I do not even know what they bought. I heard them out in the yard here Thursday afternoon. And when I heard them out, my dog started barking. My dog tells me when the kids are in the yard. Okay? I went out. When they heard them out in the yard, my dog started barking. I opened the door and let my dog out. My dog is penned in. I do not let my dog around Jack and Lily. From what I hear through the grapevine, Jack and Lily have not been around animals. When they first came here, I tried to introduce my dog to Jack and Lily, and Lily started to scream because my dog was near her.
Jack threw his boots on the bus, learned behavior from Danny. You wonder, Andy, are you okay? Where did you hear that? Just curious. Callie says the teachers in the school knew Jack and Lily were neglected and hungry and abused, to the point they were concerned enough to notify the Children's Aid about it. They're always looking for it. Therefore, why shouldn't we trust what it is that they see, to the point where it requires further investigation? That's exactly what they did. I agree. I hope DM's older kids told the RCMP that Janie, Daniel, and MBM would deny Jack and Lily food in their presence or make them wait a while the bio kids ate. How did you know that happened? Or, well, are you just... What made you say that, Sea Legal?
Ever since that, I've kept my dog away from the kids, Jack and Lily. Thursday, when I opened up the door, Jack and Lily were right beside the playhouse looking for worms under a board.
Helicopter Grandma says the bus driver said this when he was interviewed. He said that Jack used to throw his boot at him. Well, isn't that interesting that you brought that up? Thank you. Very interesting. Dragonfly Love 123 says they may have to bring in jurors from outside the area.
Jack said to me, "Look, Granny, I found a worm. I found a centipede." I said, "Good boy, you keep looking." That's when I went over in my front of my RV and started raking the gravel for the swimming pool. Because I was waiting for Daniel to find his tools so he could help me put the top board up.
You want to know another reason we know that you're lying, Janie? It's because you don't associate any periods of time in which you're participating in any activity that you're suggesting that you're engaged in over a long period of time, honey. Okay, that's the important part to all of this. Were you doing it for 30 seconds? Were you doing it for 7 minutes? Big difference there. So you're too careful to get caught up in any of the bullshit lies that you're telling. That's why you're omitting the two most important parts. What time and for how long? Do you hear me? I know you do. What time and for how long is a question that you can apply to each and every situation that they've presented that they were engaged in for 16 hours. Through May 1st into May 2nd up until 10:02 a.m. when they put the call in to the RCMP and disinformed them on a situation. Good to see you, soldier girl. Meep, at least at school, they got a breakfast and a hot meal for lunch? I don't think so. They'd have to have their lunches sent with them. Maybe I'm wrong. But I don't think that they're in any program at that sense. That would be nice, but I don't think that that's in place. They were placed into this nightmare at age 2 and 4, Irish gal. Absolutely. They were imposed on, they were disregarded as soon as Daniel Martel sent Malaya that lying message through Facebook dating. 2 weeks later, completely disregarded. They're all busy updating their Facebook profiles with new pictures. Look at my new love. Look at my new girl, my new man. Oh, ain't she gorgeous? Let's put some filters on this. Oh, yeah, look at how beautiful we look together. Wonder what the first argument was about. And I bet you if we thought hard enough, we could probably guess it. I wonder what the first conflict was about at Patty's with old Daniel after he moved in. Pretty much right away. I would have to think that it's pretty much since the get-go. After you got to learn his name. What's this guy's name? How long do you plan on staying? And the picture of Jack and Lily at the end of the driveway waiting for the bus, they were not cleaned. Their hair was not brushed. No morals at all for those two innocent children, Helicopter Grandma says. Robin says, here it is again, Janie's angry voice when talking about the kids. Michelle Wright AB, like anyone has any sense, really cares who they are dating or trying to date. Yeah. Especially in Nova Scotia, it seems. I did hear that there was catfishing going on, but do not learn the details. There is catfishing going on here, Explore Corps. You did hear that from elsewhere, except here? That's very interesting. I believe that absolutely. Obviously, she catfished him. Or he catfished her. Excuse me. Look at how nice and beautiful I am. You want to come out and move out to my mom's farm? Let's get the hell out of this joint. My mom's farm. What do you farm? Rats? Trail Hiker says IMO, abusive guys like DM start out with a new relationship with a lot of love bombing. Of course he did. Think about the things that he was saying to Taylor in those messages and the other girlfriend. I'm going to get over there and I'm going to poke you in my back with my hard Peter. And you're going to love it, girl. Even if you tell me to stop, too bad. I'm going to keep going like a crazy man. Because that's how I get. A crazy. DM saw the money used Patty and was a lazy-ass druggie, says Helicopter Grandma. True. Cindy, Darlene, it was not said that DM threw the boots at him. It was said that he would throw toys at him, and it was said in one of the chat groups. Okay. Well, keep it out there. Keep it open. The bio-grandchildren looked a bit like the Addams Family kids. Dark clothing, bottom up, dark hair. The girl had bangs and braids. Well, maybe it was a style. Maybe it was October. I can tell you that my sons, when they were young, they would not go with anyone, and they sure as hell did not need water and snacks from strangers. And that was almost 39 years ago. Listen, what's the first thing that you tell kids? Don't talk to strangers. Don't accept anything from anybody. Boundaries. Daniel's telling you that these kids didn't have any boundaries. They were just out looking for a good time, just like Daniel was. He said that about Jack and Lily. Absolutely he did. Quoted. They're just out looking for a good time. Hear that, Darren? No doubt in my mind, Darlene says that Daniel preyed on Malaya, saw her videos where she is so childish and soft-spoken, had children he could use against her. Oh yeah, that's right away. That's how he deals with. He thinks, listen, we've seen this cycle from Daniel, even if it's remotely similar to the things that he would go through with Malaya. It's probably a lot worse. I don't think Daniel is capable of a healthy relationship because he doesn't want one. He's not looking for one. He's looking for a sucker that he can attach himself to. Moved in after 2 weeks. Could you imagine even wanting to do that, anybody? Could you imagine even wanting after 2 weeks to move in with somebody else? Like, you have ulterior motives. You're not out seeking a healthy Christian relationship with another pretty girl. You're not looking for long-term, happiness and building a home together and supporting another person in everything that they do and living the dream and or even for security. After 2 weeks from Facebook dating, dude, you're looking for somebody right away to control. You're looking for somebody right away that's going to tell you yes. Somebody who's easily controllable. And that's what Daniel found. Malaya just happened to fit that screen with least distortion, focused through the lens of his mind. LEM 4489 says his type targets her type. Okay. Miss K, yes, I didn't sit on any old man's knee, including Santa. Or Darren's. Miss Bartman, DM is not a suspect, just father of the fucking year. Yeah, I'm sure the children listen to DM's words, hoping to not feel his hands. Great roast. I know what I heard, Cindy B. Don't tell me what I heard, please, says Darlene. Okay. Oh, people trying to go back and forth in chat. Well, somebody's wrong. Somebody's not telling the truth. You guys could figure that out. We'll sort it out. It's out on the table now. Was it toys or boots? Did the bus driver actually say anything, I wonder? Who said that in the first place? How did we get that information? See, Legal Canada says, sadly for douchebag Daniel, he is useless to other prisoners. Certainly not rich. Murdoch has legal skills. McKee has medical background. DM is going in with negative balance. He will learn about consequences. They'll find something to extort him for. For protection. You're going to need protection in there, boy. And your cellmate is going to be the first guy that gets dibs on that until he gets his ass kicked and you get taken. People will be fighting over you, maybe. Maybe they'll like your prison pussy. Your prison wallet. I treat my step-grandchildren with love the same as I do with my grandson. It does not matter if they are blood. They are still my grandchildren no matter what. Helicopter Graham. I tend to treat all kids the same. In a kind way, no matter if they're little peckerheads or not. You could slug me right in the testicles and I'd still smile. D. Martel believes his own lies, Miss Bartman says. Hard not to when you have an enabler like Janie, excuse me. You're right on that one. Welcome to customer, Helicopter Grandma. Thank you, darling. Welcome in. I appreciate you being here. Not the prison wallet, Soldier Girl says. Oh, it's Daniel's prison wallet. Patent leather. Marley Sanker, this so will be in protective custody. Jack and Lily didn't get that luxury. Exactly. Eventually he will.
Up on the fence so I could put the boards up because I couldn't hold one end
Don't you know
and
anything about
nail the other
carpentry?
end. Anybody that knows that, anybody that does carpentry knows that that's impossible to do, to get that it balanced. And
Yeah, she's really trying to emphasize her point there. Anybody that knows anything about carpentry, which certainly isn't fucking her. Like, listen, usually when you use tools, that fence literally looks like you didn't use any tools. Not one. Not a level, okay? Not even a hammer. Not a saw. Not a measuring tape. It's not straight. It's not squared to anything. Just think about how bad this goddamn fence is going to look in about 6 more months. And how much worse in another 6 months. Kent could probably drive through that on his wheelchair. Destroy it completely. Hello, Quillfish. Happy belated. You're suspicious that Daniel is such a coward that if he is charged for red rum, he will be most likely end his own life. Well, there's no sense wishing. Prisoners will sing and recite DM's texts he sent to grape subjects and make him their BI something H. Yes, he will be on the lower tier of the hierarchy in the prison system. The very bottom tier. He won't even be able to get to work. He'll have to sit over in the corner and beg people to play cards with them from a distance. I doubt that fence survives this winter hugging demons. It'll give them any more reason to go out and work on it some more. That fence gets so much work done on it. For something that has so much work done on it, you think it would at least look good instead of a tweaker's get me by. Don't you know anything about carpentry? Fucking projection much? The SOB will probably be kept with the rest of the sexual deviants, says Darlene. They only cleaned up in hopes to have Meadow around. Clearly it wasn't being done to keep Lily and Jack in, Miss Bartman said. No, they had their bags already packed and out on the front lawn. I wonder if that suitcase that was just parked out there in the front lawn for the Globe and Mail reporter to write about had any matching suitcases. That property is built from math heads. Yeah, you can see it.
and hold one end up and the other end drop. After Daniel helped me, I continue putting the boards on the fence. But there was another fence on the other side that was there before that. So I was out there doing my fence. Jack and Lily were in the backyard playing. I came in the house to have some supper. I do not know when the kids went in the house.
There we go. There we go about knowing what you don't know. You don't know what time the kids went in the house. There goes that time thing again. There's that time thing. Well, you knew enough to not know, but you were out there the entire time, the way you describe it. You couldn't give us an approximation? Let's get the conversation started there, honey. Let's get an approximation going. We're not going to fill that in for you, even though we do. But it needs to come from you.
I don't know what time they went to bed. I don't know anything of that. That's all I get.
Doesn't want to get caught up. Don't know any times. I don't know what happened to the kids after I was just 10 feet away from them. They're 10 feet away, and I just completely have no idea what could have happened to them. They just disappeared back into the trailer, and once they came.
I can tell you is from what I told you, my brother called me at 8:48. We talked for 2 minutes, 59 seconds. After that, I laid down. My dog barked because Lily and Jack were here where the swings are. I have a board up over my window. I did not see them because the board was closed. The reason I have a board up over my window is for the winter time to keep the draft out and for the summertime to keep the sun out. I heard them Friday morning. I swear on a Bible.
Oh, no, she didn't even do that. She's begging you to believe her. I swear on a Bible, I beg you to believe me. I heard the kids Friday morning. That tells me even stronger at this point than ever that she never heard the kids. The kids weren't out Friday morning. Something else happened Thursday night. When you have to resort as an individual to convince people of something that you don't have to convince people of, which is the truth that you're reciting, it needs no convincing or no swearing on Bibles or people's dead graves. Like that's actually a thing and it's going to do something. It just tells people how desperate you are to be believed, no matter what way you look at it. Sky Maiden says she sounds like she's reading off a sheet of paper. Yes, you're observing and listening correctly. She sees, Helicopter Grandma, that struck me as hilarious. We checked the hamster cages. I heard dude was arrested, but nothing to do with the kids. I'll rewind. Crafting with Amy, it does have something to do with the kids, but it has to do with Malaya in that sense, an adult victim. Janie is a lying drunk and math head. Miss Bartman says Janie claiming to be a holy woman, swearing on the Bible, yet admits to being selfish and staying in bed. Marley Sanker says her meth pipes are used for Windchimes. Haha, that's true. Oh my God. What? Oh, fucking roast season. Yeah, friends, hit that thumbs up like Explore Core is encouraging you. Make sure you just give it a bit of a thumbs up tonight, friends. Thanks a lot.
Better than that, I swear on my father's grave, I heard them Friday morning. So the kids were here Friday morning. After that, I don't know what happened to them. My first instinct when she told me that the kids were missing was check the woods. That's what I did.
Right.
And when I found out they were not in the woods, I said they're not in the woods.
Holy boy, easy there, Mr. Roboto. Friends, we're going to end it at 2.5 hours. I appreciate you guys sticking it through with me. We're going to be back tomorrow and keep your eyes out for highlights, videos being uploaded throughout the day. We're keeping it going. Make sure that you participate in all of the other great content creators that are paying attention to the situation. They'll be live later tonight and tomorrow and the next day. I appreciate it, friends, and I will see you shortly.